Hello guys, welcome to our today's tutorial. So we are actually going to be designing a magazine cover. Designing a magazine cover is a very special and important design that you need to give your attention to. So without further ado, let us start with the design. So we're already in our Photoshop, so let's create a new file. We go to file, click on new, then go to print. We are going to be using A4 for our design, so you make sure that you click on your A4 and then resolution and everything, click on create. So now we're going to set our margin that we're actually going to be using for our design here. So to set your margin, you go to view, you click on new guide layer out. So sometimes people ask, how do you know the right margin to use? I was like, okay, I can't give you a precise margin to use for your layout, but because some magazine comes in different ways you design them, and then the write-up. So the write-up most times determines the way your design margin is going to be. So we are not using the column or the rows. We are going to turn the columns off. If your own is on, turn it off. Then go to your margin and click on the margin, only the margin. So set your margin to 120 top, left 120, bottom 120, right 120 px. So once you don't put in it, you notice that your margin has automatically been set. After the whole setting here, click on OK, and then here we have our margin. So to hide this margin, you hold Ctrl and H on your keyboard to hide the margin. To bring the margin back, you still hold Ctrl H to bring the margin back. So for now, let's hide the margin, Ctrl H, and then bring in our model we're actually going to be using for this design. So we pick our model here. So now this is the model we're actually going to be using for our design. So we are actually going to crop out the background of this model. So if you've not learned how to crop out a picture from a background, so you can go back to our previous tutorials and watch on how to do that. So to do this, a quick one, go to select, you click on subject. So once it's been selected, as it's rotating, you notice that it's trying to select it. So once it's auto select, you click on Ctrl J to remove it, and then you notice that it created a new layer 1 here and then another layer. So we can turn off this, and you see we already have so you can delete this here, and then we have this. But I can't just leave my design this way. I need to add depth to my model here. So how do I add depth to my model here? Come to your layer here, Ctrl J to duplicate the layer. Or if you don't want to hit Ctrl J, you can just come here, you see this place here, and then it duplicates the layer. It's still the same way. Then power clip the layer 1 copy to this layer 1. So once you have layer 1 first selected, hold Alt, you see an arrow key showing you down this way, an arrow key, you holding your Alt, click it, you see it has power clipped it. So the next thing we do is we go to our filter, go to order, go to custom, click on custom, and then you will notice that it added little details to it. It added a detail to it. You click on OK. This is before, this is after. So when you zoom in, you see before, after. Now we are not done adding depth to it. You still go back to filter, go to order, go to high pass, click on high pass, and then notice this comes out. So we are actually going to reduce our high pass, the radius. Take the radius down to, let's say, I like making it 10. I like keeping my radius to 10. So you can just type 10, and then here, then go to your blending mode, click on here and change your blending mode to overlay. Click on overlay. So let's check in again. See before, see after, see before, see after. So you see the details of the model is coming out a bit. So we are not done. We still want to add a little bit more depth. So So one of the things that makes your design look more attractive and appealing is you don't just take your models that way, you add depth to your models to make it look good. So to still add more depth, we're going to add the click on the curve adjustment layer, increase our curve a bit, increase it a bit, then we click Ctrl I to reverse the adjustment. Ctrl I. So once you click on Ctrl I to reverse, it turns black. So you click on your brush tool, check in here, reduce your this, and then make sure that your foreground here is white and then the down one is black, and then you click here. So when you click, you notice that the brightness is coming out a bit, so but it's not coming out as much as we want it. So when you check in the face of the model, we have the highlights here and then the shadow part. So we want to add a little bit depth on the highlight, so you just come here, click here, add a bit depth to it, yes. So we can decide to increase it a bit, yes. So once we've done that, click on the curve here, on the feathers here, just reduce. You can decide to reduce the feathers here, try to reduce the feathers here. Fantastic. This was before, after, so we still need to reduce it. Okay, so we can still reduce it a bit. So most times you try to adjust your work so it doesn't look okay. Good, fantastic. Before, after. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to select the layers and group them. Ctrl G, select this and this, Ctrl G. So we'll group them. So we'll call this model, we name it model. So now we centralize it. So to centralize it, it's been selected. Hold Ctrl plus A on your keyboard. You see a marquee around your artboard, and then you click on your selection tool here, move to here, and then once you click on Ctrl A, your marquee, and then on the selection, you notice this. You just come here. Here is align in horizontal centers. We click it. So it's been perfectly aligned. So to remove this marquee, you click on Ctrl D to remove the marquee. Now we need to make this model a bit bigger because it is small. So we can decide to increase this model this way. We can decide to increase it this way. Yeah. So once you increase it this way, still centralize it. Ctrl A, and then center, and then boom. Now let's start bringing in our write-up. So our first write-up here is going to be the name of the brand. So this is the name of the brand. So let's bring out our line grid, our grid. So Ctrl H to bring it, because that will help us to align very well what we're doing. So now this, we're going to take it to the back of the model. So we bring it to the back of the model this way. So now one of the things I love doing here is, most times when you notice that this is a new brand, always make sure that their name are much visible, because visibility is another key thing that helps your design to pop out very well. And then text is just like another imagery that conveys message to people. So now if you notice that our texts are hidden at the back of this model, so we can click on our model and then bring it downwards. Yes, bring it downwards a bit this way. Okay, so fantastic, we have it. So you notice we are trying to align the name of this yeah, so you align it very well. So everything we are doing is within the boundary of this space, not outside this space. So anything that can go outside this space is just our model. So we already have this. So we can start bringing in our text to this place. So we have this. So let's bring in our text here. So let's bring in our text here. So our first text on the group here. So so these are our tests. So another thing I need to tell you about text, always make sure that any text you're using is the same font and then the same size, except the header. So now when you notice that this header, when you click on here to check, you notice that this header is on let's make it 16, and then let's close the gap between it. So yeah, so let's close the gap. So I think it's still too big, so let's reduce. Let's close the gap. Okay, then we click on it and then we increase it a bit. Fantastic. So you can decide to bring down this. Yes, okay, so we have this here. So make sure that this is properly aligned to this. So we have this now. So we click on this again, this text. So this one, we can decide to place this one here. So you just be playing around the text. Okay, fine. So I think okay. So we now still move to pick up some of our write-up. So we go to pick some of our write-up. So we have this here. So now, like I said, we are actually going to still check this. What's the size? 20.6. So the same font. So you move this one is, so check this 20.6. You hit the enter key, so it gives you that 20.6. So what is the spacing between this? Still the same spacing, 20.6. So we still come here, 20.6. You have it. So make sure that it's on the same pace line. So for this, so we're actually going to be using the same font. So we don't use different font for it. This is the write-up. So we can actually still click on this and then work on the font. So for the font size here is 14. This one is 14. This one is 20.6. This one is 20.6. Perfect. So we'll make sure that yes, it goes well with us here. So perfect. So the next thing we do, I think we are not done with our text. So we still bring in our text to the face. Okay, so we still work on this text. We still work on our text. Okay, so this is the title. So we bring in the title. Now the title here, okay, this is our title. So we can decide to place our title here. So now for this title, most times you can use fonts that are a bit sans serif font. You can use sans serif font mostly for magazine cover designs. So for this, we are actually using Aurora for the title. So you make the title a little bit bigger so that people can see it, and then the color for the title is the same as the color we are using for the brand. So let's still go back and finish up with bringing out the write-up here. So this will place this at the bottom part of here. So if you watch very well, I'm trying to make sure that this text align at the center of my line. So I said everything we are doing is focused at the center of this place, so we are not going outside the center of this place. So here should be center of your focus for your design. So when you notice very well, you notice that this write-up, some parts are white here, you can't see. So what do? You click on your select tool. So go to that place that are and change them to black so that it can be more visible. Not seeing it, more visible. Okay, so we have somewhere like this place, change them to white. Fantastic. Yes, so we have our text this way. So I think we are still left with one other thing again, the date. We pick the date, and then the date, we can decide to keep the date around here. So this is the date, so we can decide to put the date. So let's change the font for the date. So we can use Poppins for the font of this date. So we can use regular here, and then we place the date just beneath this place. So I think we still have one more turning point. Okay, so we click on this, copy this, then come down to, you can actually overlap your text on your image when you're doing a magazine design. Most times people say it's not good to overlap your text on your image. It depends on the kind of designs you're doing. So for magazine cover, you can actually overlap your text on your image. So let's increase this to this, and then so we are just trying to play around with our text. So yes, so we are just trying to play around with our text. So let's make sure that this is in the same synergy, in the same line face with this, and then on the same edge with that. So we can move it this way a bit. Yes, and then at the same time move this one a bit here. So so fantastic. So this is our design. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can click on our subscribe link, so that most times when we post tutorials like this, you can be able to see them. Thank you so much, and see you in the next class. Bye for now.